I am 90 years old, and I have seen this world change in ways that would make your head spin. But the one thing I have learned, the very thing that has kept me alive and healthy through the decades, is this. We have stopped paying attention to what grows right beneath our feet. And today, I want to share with you a secret I have kept close to my heart for most of my life. A secret that has saved me thousands of dollars, kept my family healthy, and has given me a life of abundance that most people can only dream of. So sit with me for a moment. Listen to an old man who has learned that the greatest treasures in life are often hiding in plain sight. When I was a young man, maybe 25 years old, I watched my grandfather do something that seemed absolutely crazy to everyone else in our village.
Curious. Every morning, while our neighbors were spending money at the market for medicine and remedies, my grandfather would walk into his yard with a small bag and a pair of gloves. He would look at what everyone else called weeds, those plants that grew wild and unwanted, and he would smile. He would smile like he had just found gold coins buried in the soil. Back then, I thought he was mad. I truly did. But I was too curious not to follow him. And that curiosity, my friends, changed everything for me. He showed me, with patient hands and a gentle voice, that what we call weeds are actually nature's pharmacy. They are gifts that grow freely, without needing our permission or our money. And I realized something that day that shaped the rest of my life. The world will always try to sell you something you already have. And if you are not careful, you will spend your entire life buying what grows for free in your own yard. So let me share with you the 8 weeds that have been worth more to me than gold. These are the ones my grandfather taught me about, and these are the ones I have shared with my children, my grandchildren, and now with you. The first treasure is dandelion. Now, I know what you are thinking, the very plant you spend your weekends trying to kill. But listen to me when I tell you this. Dandelion has saved more lives than most modern medicines ever will. Every single part of this plant has healing power. The leaves are packed with vitamins and minerals your body is begging for. A cup of dandelion tea, made from the leaves I harvest in the early morning, has more nutrition than 20 bottles of supplements sitting on a shelf in some store. When I was 40, I had friends who were always tired, always sick, always spending money at doctors. I made them dandelion tea, the leaves, the roots, all of it. Within 3 months, they had energy they had forgotten they possessed. The roots can be roasted and made into a coffee that has kept my mind sharp for decades. And the flowers, oh, the beautiful yellow flowers, they make a wine that your heart will thank you for. I have been making dandelion wine for 60 years, and it brings me more joy than any expensive bottle ever could. The second gift from nature is plantain, and I do not mean the banana, no. I mean the plant with the broad leaves that grows in almost every yard. This humble plant has been used for thousands of years, and your ancestors knew its power even if you have forgotten. Plantain is what I call nature's bandage. When one of my grandchildren scrapes their knee, when any cut or wound appears on my skin, I walk out to the yard, I gather fresh plantain leaves, and I crush them gently in my hands. The juice and the crushed leaves go directly on the wound. The healing is faster than anything you can buy in a bottle. The pain disappears. The infection does not come. This is not magic, my friends. This is just the wisdom that was passed down before we became so convinced that everything we need must be purchased. The third treasure is chickweed, small, delicate, unnoticed by most people. But when your skin is irritated, when you have a rash or an itch that will not go away, chickweed is your answer. I have used it for 70 years. I have never needed to buy the creams and potions that cost 5, 10, sometimes 20 times the price. A salve made from chickweed, mixed with a little oil, is worth more than anything you will find in a drugstore. The women in my family have used it on their skin for generations, and we have aged without the rough, damaged skin I see on so many people today. It is not magic. It is nature, working exactly as it was meant to. The fourth gift is comfrey. I must tell you about comfrey with great care because this plant is so powerful that it demands respect. The leaves of comfrey contain compounds that help bones heal, that reduce swelling in joints, that ease the pain of arthritis. When I was 72, my knees were screaming at me. I had worked hard my entire life, and my body was paying the price. I made a salve from comfrey leaves, and I applied it every day. Within weeks, the pain was almost gone. Within months, I was walking 5 miles a day again. Comfrey has become my most treasured plant. But I share this with caution. This plant must be used with wisdom. Use it on your skin, make it into a poultice, but do not consume it in large amounts. Nature's gifts are powerful, and powerful things demand respect. The fifth treasure, and this one brings me such joy to share, is nettles. Stinging nettles. Yes, the very plant that makes you cry out when you brush against it. But once you understand how to handle it, to dry it, to prepare it with respect, it becomes one of the most nutritious foods you can eat. The nettle is packed with iron, with calcium, with vitamins that your body needs desperately. A cup of nettle tea, made from the dried leaves, has restored energy to people I know who were exhausted from life. Women who were struggling with the changes of their bodies have told me that nettle tea changed everything for them, and it costs almost nothing. You pick the leaves, you dry them, you brew them. That is all. I have been drinking nettle tea for 55 years, and my bones are strong, my blood is healthy, and my energy still surprises people half my age. The sixth gift is mugwort. This plant grows quietly in yards and forgotten places, and it has been used in every culture on earth for thousands of years. The leaves can be dried and used as a tea, and this tea has helped so many people sleep when sleep would not come. I have suffered from restless nights, especially as I have grown older, but mugwort tea, warm and gentle before bed, has brought me the most peaceful sleep. It is not a drug. It does not knock you out. It simply calms your mind and allows your body to rest the way nature intended. I have recommended this to dozens of people, and almost all of them have come back to me with gratitude in their eyes, telling me how their nights have transformed. The seventh treasure is really two plants that work beautifully together, mint and lemon balm. These plants, which spread so easily that most people curse them for taking over their gardens, are nature's digestive miracle. When your stomach is upset, when you feel bloated or uncomfortable, when your digestion is troubled, these plants bring relief faster than anything else I know. I make a tea, and within 20 minutes, the discomfort is gone. I have never needed to buy antacids, never needed to spend money on digestive aids. These plants have done the work for decades and decades. They grow so abundantly that I give them away by the armful to my neighbors, and I laugh every time I do, thinking about how they are trying to kill these plants with chemicals when they are actually pulling gold out of the earth and throwing it away. And the eighth, the final treasure I want to share with you today is Calendula, this bright, cheerful flower, with its petals that glow like little suns, has been my companion for so long that I cannot imagine my life without it. The petals make an oil that heals any skin issue you can imagine. Scars fade, old skin becomes soft, minor wounds disappear. I have used calendula oil for everything from burns to cuts to the simple wear and tear of aging skin. I make this oil myself in the summer when the flowers are at their peak. I fill a jar with fresh petals and oil, I let it sit in the sunshine for weeks, and then I have medicine that will last me the entire year. This is not expensive. This is not complicated. This is just love and patience, the same way my grandmother made it, the same way I have taught my children to make it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might think that I am exaggerating, that I am romantic about the old ways, but let me tell you what I know in my bones. My generation spent far less on health care, lived longer, and had better quality of life than many people do today. Not because we were lucky, not because we had access to better medicine, but because we never forgot that the earth provides. We never stopped paying attention to what grows around us. The wisdom I want to pass on to you today is this: you do not have to spend your entire life buying things you do not need from people who do not care about you. Walk outside, look at your yard, look at the plants growing wild in the spaces between things. Learn their names, learn their powers. This knowledge is not reserved for herbalists or doctors. This is the birthright of every human being. Start small if you are nervous. Pick one plant. Learn everything about it. Use it. Experience it. Then move to the next one. Do not rush. Do not force it. Just let the knowledge come to you the way it came to me, slowly and naturally, like a gift you did not know you were waiting for. And there is something else I want to tell you, something that might be even more important than any tea or salve or remedy. When you do this work, when you spend time with plants, when you learn to see the world this way, you become part of something larger than yourself. You connect to your ancestors. You connect to the earth. You connect to all the people who will come after you. And you begin to understand that taking care of yourself and taking care of the world are exactly the same thing. I have lived 90 years, and I have watched the world change in ways both wonderful and troubling. But the one thing that has never changed, the one thing that is always true, is that nature takes care of those who take care of nature. When you respect these plants, when you learn from them, when you use them with gratitude, you are not just healing yourself, you are healing your family, you are healing your finances, you are healing your relationship with the world that sustains you. This knowledge, this ancient wisdom, it is disappearing. Every day, there are fewer people who know how to make a salve from Comfrey, fewer people who understand that a weed is just a plant in a place where you do not want it to grow. And when this knowledge disappears, we lose something that our ancestors fought hard to keep alive. We lose a part of what makes us human. So I am asking you, as an old man who will not be here much longer, to take this knowledge and hold it close. Learn these plants. Teach your children. Share with your neighbors. Do not let this gift from nature disappear from your family because you were too busy to pay attention. Build a garden, even a small one. Plant these treasures intentionally, or if you cannot do that, simply stop killing them when they appear. Let them grow. Let them do what they were meant to do, and notice how your life begins to change. I think about my grandfather often. I was that curious young man who followed him into the yard, and now I am the old man in the yard, and I have watched my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren begin to understand what he understood, what I have tried my whole life to share. This knowledge is power, real power, not the power to dominate or to control, but the power to sustain yourself, to heal yourself, to live freely without constantly reaching into your pocket. You have everything you need growing right there in your yard, in the spaces between the sidewalk and the street, in the forgotten corners of the world where nature continues its quiet work, healing and sustaining and providing. All you have to do is pay attention. All you have to do is care enough to learn. I hope that what I have shared with you today plants a seed in your mind, not just information, but a way of seeing the world differently, not as something to consume and discard, but as something alive and generous and worthy of your attention and your gratitude. If this message has touched your heart, if you feel even a small pull to learn more, to connect with this ancient wisdom, to pass it on to those you love, then I ask you to do one thing for me: subscribe to this channel. Because there is so much more to share, there are so many more secrets, and I want to spend my remaining years making sure that this wisdom does not disappear when I am gone. Your subscription tells me that you care, that you want to keep this flame alive, and that means everything to an old man who has walked this earth for 9 decades and has learned that the greatest legacy we can leave is not money or things, but knowledge. Knowledge that sets people free. Knowledge that heals. Knowledge that connects us all to something greater than ourselves. Thank you for sitting with me today. Thank you for listening to an old man's heart. And thank you for being the kind of person who cares enough to learn. The world needs you. The earth needs you. And so do I.